We all know that if you want to build a good physique, you've got to work out. Lift weights. 999, 1,000. Okay, now put them down. And let me see. Let me see your muscles. But what we sometimes forget is that building strength of character also requires heavy lifting. The Torah reminds us that in a roundabout way at the beginning of this week's portion, when the Jews are commanded about the law of bikurim, first fruits. When they make it to the land, they'll start planting, and they'll wait, and then finally it'll be harvest day, and you're looking forward to harvesting and partaking in those wonderful fruits, the 7 species for which Eretz Yisrael, Israel, is known. But before you can partake of them, you've got to bring the first fruits to Jerusalem, to the temple, to the priest. Now, it involved a grand, beautiful procession with throngs of people and with a beautiful declaration of faith in God, but it also required them to wait. You couldn't dive into that fruit right away. It forced you to build some self-restraint. A famous rabbi once explained that in order to build self-restraint, you have to test yourself. Now, he did not mean that you should put yourself into situations involving forbidden temptation in order to resist it. Because if you do that and you fail, you're setting yourself up for disaster. So what did he mean? He meant testing yourself in areas that are permitted. So if, for example, you're not on a diet and you're about to have a delicious slice of cake for dessert, and you say, you know what? I'm not going to have that dessert. I want to build up my self-restraint muscle so it'll be there when I really need it. Perhaps the best example I ever heard of this was in a lecture from a well-known rabbi who's also a prolific author. And he told the following story. He was in his office and he was writing one of his books. And he decided that he needed a 10-minute break to clear his head. So he got up and he turned on the television in his office. And he put on the football game featuring his hometown team, the team for which he cheered. And his team was down 2 touchdowns with only a few minutes left in the game. It looked pretty bleak, but he wanted a 10-minute break. So he sat down to watch. And lo and behold, his team drove the field and scored a touchdown. So now they're only down 7 points. And either they recovered an onside kick or they kicked off and they held the other team to a 3-and-out. In either event, they got the ball back. And with under a minute left, they drove down the field again and they scored the tying touchdown. And everybody's excited, including him, and they're waiting for overtime. And suddenly he realizes, 1 second, he says to himself, you said you needed a 10-minute break. It's been 10 minutes. And he forced himself to get up off the couch and turn off the television. Now, there was no halacha, no Jewish law that forced him to do that. It was fine for him to spend another 5 or 10 or so minutes watching a very exciting overtime featuring his football team. But he wanted to build up that self-restraint muscle so that it would be there when he really needed it. Rosh Hashanah is around the corner. It's coming soon. Start lifting.